From coast to coast, I'm your host, Palma N'Sheluvzit, and welcome to Oriac Live. On today's show, we're going to hear the story behind AHAVA and how to love your skin. Perfect time for spring. Let's welcome AHAVA's North America CEO and President, Beth Ann Catalano, and the Senior Marketing Manager, Shireen Hunter. Thank you to you both for joining me today.
Thank you for having us, Palma. We're really excited. Thank you.
I'm excited too. I have so many questions. Are you ladies ready? Because my skin is ready. Spring is here and we're a week into it. And let me tell you, I have been all over your products. And I have to say, one thing that I do love off the bat, from the moment I searched up AHAVA, which means love in Hebrew, which I find perfect for my skin because it needs all the love it can get after this long winter, is I love the section on your website under Learn. And there are blogs there. And I loved the one that Emily wrote about the spring and all the products that she had recommended. Now, tell me, I did my research and in love already. But Beth Ann, can you tell us the back end story about AHAVA?
You know what? I love to tell the story. So I think the theme of today is all about love. I love to tell the story about AHAVA because AHAVA is a very, very special company. We are a company that the origin and the birth of our company was all founded at the Dead Sea. And the Dead Sea is really a very special body of water. It is located between Israel and between Jordan. In fact, the line of the countries goes right down the middle. And a long time ago, about 34 years ago, because the company is about 32, 33 years old. So about 34, 35 years ago, a group of scientists went down to the Dead Sea. And when I say down, what I mean is that the Dead Sea region is very desolate. It's very, very dry, very few inhabitants. And it also happens to be the lowest altitude on the face of the earth. And that all has a lot to do with why the Dead Sea is what it is. But we had a group of scientists. They were not, chemists. They weren't beauty people. We had scientists that we didn't know at that point in time. And they went down to the Dead Sea, and they had a grant from the University of Jerusalem, out of Tel Aviv and out of Jerusalem. And they began to study the differences of the Dead Sea than any other body of water on the face of the earth. And what they found were these minerals that had a very, very high content in relationship to, like, the Atlantic Ocean has about 10% mineral content to it. Well, this is a whopping 33% minerals in terms of what the content of the water is. And so what they started to do is to say, hey, there must be something really cool about this water, but why is it so different and what does it do? And so they started to notice a couple things. First of all, they had moved their families down to this very desolate area, and it's so dry and so hot. But they noticed that their hands were not cracking like other parts of their skin. So their face was really, really dry because, in a desert area, things get really, really dry. And their skin was very dry except for their hands. And they remembered and they recognized that they were putting their hands in the water basically most of the day. So they started to think, like scientists always are thinking, they started to think there must be a relationship between dryness and lack of dryness that has something to do with the Dead Seas. And because there were so many minerals in the Dead Sea, they started to put two and two together. And what they learned is that minerals are so important to the human skin to help the human skin retain hydration. And as we age, we all know we get a little drier and our skin, loses its collagen. We can talk about that later. But you start to see lines and wrinkles and you start to see the sagging of the skin. And that has to do with the loss of moisture. So that's the beginning of the story. And there's so much more to tell, but I'll just come back to you and say, what do you think about that? And, that's the beginning and the heritage of AHAVA.
It's absolutely fascinating. I wanted to read more. I wish there was even more of the back end of the story online, because to me, it's incredible that something from nature can actually help us. And yeah, ladies, I've trickled into my 40s and here I am. Like, can I get a little bit of help here? And I'm like,
Well,
oh, this is
it's funny that, and I'm glad that you mentioned that, because those of us ladies that, and we're going to put Shireen out of this conversation for one quick second, those of us that have reached the ripe age of 45, and it really happens right around 45. And some of the people that may be listening and
thanks
watching.
for the heads up, Beth Ann.
There you go.
Years to go.
You got a couple years. And sometimes it's a little bit later, but not too much later. But those of you that have turned about 45, this may sound very familiar to you. You wake up one morning, you look in the mirror, and you look at yourself and you say, wait a minute, something is really different. And you know what? It was different. We weren't kind of like that yesterday. Something's different than even yesterday. And it's not about the lines. It's not about wrinkles or sagging. There's just a difference in the way that you look. And it's so recognizable. And what that is, and you can't most people don't know what it is. In fact, very few people know what it is. And what that is that you have lost your youthful glow. You've lost the radiance to the skin. And so again, like everything else, the loss of moisture really starts to deteriorate that beautiful glow. If you look at Shireen's skin, she's a beautiful young woman that has a lot of radiance to her skin and a lot of moisture retention to her skin. Yeah. But as she ages, she also will notice at some point in time, hopefully not too soon, but, a little while, she'll recognize that there is something that she needs to do more to her skin. And that radiance is synonymous with that youthful glow. So if you can keep that glow and that radiance in the skin, you appear to be healthier. The skin appears to be healthier and therefore younger. So that's what minerals are about.
Just yet, right? Yeah. Shireen is not out of the water.
No.
and it's coming.
But the interesting thing, and the real interesting thing, is that there's, guess what helps your skin get back its youthful glow? Minerals.
Right.
So now we're getting into the water-rich Dead Sea waters and the mud that's in the water that's been marinating for centuries in the Dead Sea water with all these chock-a-block full of minerals. They happen to be skin-friendly minerals. In fact, 10 minerals are found nowhere else on Earth, but in the Dead Sea, which also helps restore really the retention of hydration and therefore a youthful glow.
I love that. This is just fantastic. And how lucky are we? I hear that AHAVA is coming to Canada. And oh boy, do we need it up here, because yes, we do have dryness. We have our winter months. Tell me, how important is this to you all that AHAVA is coming to Canada?
Well, I'll share with you my point of view. I've been with the company 9 years. I've been the president and CEO for 9 years. I started with the company way back in 2014. And at that point in time, we were in Canada, but not really. And so what I did, first of all, was to say, wait a minute, we need to find the right partner, and the right partner that can help us communicate the brand to a population. You all Canadians, you know the brand. And the fun thing is I got to learn that you know the brand so well. And the reason that Canadians know the brand so well is because you all travel. And you're the third largest group to go to the Dead Sea through pilgrimages, through tourist travel, through whatever. So there's a very high awareness of the AHAVA brand in Canada. And because we're all about hydration and moisture, it stands to reason that many people in Canada have loved the product, but have brought it back from Israel. And until now, and I'm a very picky person, very, very picky, we haven't found the right partners. And now we have, with Oriac, found the right partnership so that we can make sure that everyone in Canada has the ability to enjoy our products again.
Fantastic. Yes, I actually told a lot of my clients that came in this last week that I was having the opportunity to get to interview you both. And they said, what was this? What are you interviewing? I'm like, the brand AHAVA. They're like, how do you know that brand? And I said, well, it's coming to Canada. And I'm like, how do you know the brand? And exactly that. They go to Israel, they travel there yearly, and they bring the products back with them. And now they're going to have the opportunity to purchase it right here in their own home.
Absolutely. So, we're so excited.
They were so excited. They're going to be so excited to listen to us. And not to mention to our audience, not only are we here live, but we're also a podcast as too. So listen in to more juicy details. I'd love to get a few words in from Shireen Hunter over there. I know you got some secrets up your sleeves, right? How long have you been with the company?
I've been with the company for 5 years now.
Awesome. I mean, there's no doubts about when you work for a brand like this that you can't have passion for it.
Of course. Yeah, for sure. I'm very passionate about every AHAVA product.
Yes. I want to know more about the mud mask. I was reading up about that. And would this be like a great time of the year as us Canadians are kind of coming out of the winter months to incorporate this into our skin routines?
Yeah, for sure. A mud mask is very important for the skin. I would recommend a mud mask 2 to 3 times a week. And with the AHAVA mud, it's completely different than any other mud. The reason being is because, as Beth Ann mentioned before, it's been soaking in the Dead Sea for years, for centuries. And what this mud is going to help you do is it's going to help to detoxify the skin. It's going to help to purify the skin as well. So for the springtime, it's perfect, perfect timing to use a mud mask. Like I said, 2 to 3 times a week. We have different mud masks going to benefit your skin. And my favorite is the purifying mud mask. It's a 2-minute mask. You go ahead and purify your skin within that time, and it's perfect. So 2 to 3 times a week is what we recommend.
And most people think that a mud has to dry on the skin. They're really talking about clay masks that get really dry and it cracks on your face and that sort of thing, and that's a good thing. But this is not clay. This is Dead Sea mud. And Dead Sea mud, because it has so much moisture in it, it does not dry, and it's a totally different experience. But I just wanted to share one other thing that's really important about our mud. Dead Sea mud has the ability to help reduce inflammation. And what Shireen is talking about is detoxifying and cleansing. We can take it one step further and say that it helps reduce inflammation. We don't market our products as medical products, but if you go to the Dead Sea and you have, some skin afflictions, like some people are familiar with eczema and psoriasis and all of those wonderful things that are not so wonderful. A lot of people go to the Dead Sea and they soak in the waters and they feel relief. So the Dead Sea mud is really the most potent product when it comes to reducing inflammation on the surface of the skin.
Now, I was also reading up on your website. Now, I'm probably going to say this wrong. Correct me on how to pronounce it. Is it osmoter? This is the mineral. I said it right. Wow! Do I win a prize?
Yes, you do. You win a bottle of Dead Sea water, which we're going to send you. Yes.
Okay. Yes. Okay. Awesome.
I think that osmoter is absolutely the way you pronounce it. It took me so long. I'll tell you what, when I first started with the company, I didn't pronounce it correctly. And, and I thought to myself, okay, so what? It's Dead Sea water. And what it does is what's so different about AHAVA. What AHAVA did is the scientists that went down there, if you think about a body of water, there's always these things called tributaries, which is like a little stream of water that kind of breaks away from the main source of the water, and they form little pools to the side. And what happens, especially when you're in that dry, desolate climate like the Dead Sea is, that begins to evaporate. The water begins to evaporate. And what it does then is it leaves a very, very concentrated mix of the minerals. And what we do is we collect that concentration, which is only maybe 1 or 2 days a year, the right concentration. And from that, what's made is osmoter water. And I'm going to have Shireen share with you exactly what the word osmoter means and what it does. But it's the AHAVA cocktail. It's the secret sauce that only AHAVA uses. And it's the blend of the minerals and how we choose to put X parts of magnesium, X parts of calcium, X parts of potassium into that because we know what the skin needs. But Shireen, could you explain what the osmoter Pac-Man does, please?
She's going to bring the sauce now. Shireen, tell us about the sauce.
Yeah. So what it does, it's going to stimulate the activity of the skin's osmotic pump, as Beth Ann was saying before. So it signals it to power up and draw the moisture and the nutrition elements up within the surface of your skin. So within osmoter, we have magnesium, we have sodium, potassium, and calcium, and those are the key functions in the osmoter. It's basically a natural composition of those Dead Sea minerals that is going to go ahead and use in every single AHAVA product. So that's what its osmoter is going to do for your skin. And We just consider it a moisture magnet for your skin. That's exactly what it does. So it's going to elevate the skin's moisture level, and it's going to improve the nutrition of your skin.
Well, I want all this sauce because I still got a couple more years to 45.
I'm sorry, I might have traumatized you on the 45 thing. But those of you that have gone through it, and I certainly have, you know exactly what I'm talking about. So.
Yeah, well, I remember when I turned 40, and just before that, everybody kept saying to me, "Oh, you'll see. Oh, you'll see." And I didn't know what they were talking about. I know what they're talking about now. So now I'm 45, and it's a blessing to get there. And even more so, like, all jokes aside, to have a support of a product, a brand that can help us just to get there gracefully, to allow us to still have that glow. We all have our inner glow. We just want to share it a little bit on the outside too. And that's the aha moment. AHAVA.
That's right. That's right. We know who our customer is, Palma. We know exactly who she is. We call her, well, what Shireen and I call her is Emily. But what her real name is the discerning age fighter. It's a woman or a man that, is like 30, 35 plus. The thing that, you want to do as you age is that you want to look as healthy as you possibly can. I'm not trying to look 20, 25 again. What I'm trying to do, and AHAVA really helps me, is to have the healthiest skin that I can possibly have. That's what beauty becomes. The discerning age fighter, she wants a natural product. We're 100% vegan. We're totally natural. And so she loves us for that reason. She also over-indexes, meaning that, she uses more products probably than others. So for instance, beautiful Shireen, she probably uses 5 or 6 products maybe before she goes out the door in the morning. I use probably 10 or 12 before I go out. Not just, I'm just talking about, my skincare routine. And I think that, we over-index that discerning age fighter because we're looking for products that really not only make us healthy, but make us feel good about ourselves. And so we have a very specific woman and man that we know that we touch. And the most important thing about our product line is that we share a brand promise with every single product. We tell you exactly why that product is right for you. And when you think about it, people, when you buy products, you want to know, what's it going to do for me? That's the only thing that's really important. In the end of the day, we all have, the different things that we love about our brand, but the brand promise and what it says it'll do for you is really what makes people love AHAVA, because we do what we say we are going to do. We do not overpromise and underdeliver. Not at all. We just tell you exactly what you're going to get. And if you see that that is what's going to happen, you're going to be really happy and you're going to really love the product line. Whether you're beautiful Shireen at her lovely age, or you're May that's quite a bit older, or anyone in between. In between.
Well, I'm here with Emily, all right? I mean, when I read the blog, I loved that. I wanted to see more in depth about how can I use these products? And there was about 5 on the list. And from the face right down to the hands, I'm a hairdresser. My hands, I feel like when I look at them, sometimes they look older than how I feel. And it's because water and color and just getting beaten up and the cold. And when you had mentioned earlier that the scientists had put their hands in the Dead Sea and their hands weren't cracking, I'm like, can I get some of that, please? Because I'm constantly dealing with that on my knuckles. I had a client the other day that just said to me, I just realized that your hands are always in water. Like, how do you manage that? And now, my gosh, thank you, AHAVA. This is my AHAVA moment. I'm going to have something that's going to start healing my hands because, I mean, not only do we age here, we age everywhere else. And I think I'm just so subconscious about the hands because people see them all the time. And I'm Italian, so like this happens a lot.
It's going to happen. Yeah. Well, I have to say something, and this is really important. Hands tell the story of your life. It's just that simple. They tell everyone in front of you when you did not use gloves when you wash dishes, that you did not use gloves when you were outside gardening, what your occupation can be. You'll be really happy to know that we have a product called Dermud Hand Cream that is specifically for people like yourself, Palma. It is for those that have their hands in gloves or water. And I'm talking about like surgical gloves. So, a lot of people are still wearing gloves because of, the COVID outbreak.
Yeah.
But a lot of people, and, using hand sanitizer. So you have to be extra special careful with your hands, because the skin on the back of your hand is some of the thinnest skin on your body. Ironically, the skin on your palm is some of the thickest skin on your body.
Wow.
So you've got a very delicate area that you have to treat well. And I've never met anyone that says, my hands are too soft, Beth Ann, I just can't stand it. They're just too soft. Everybody is wanting to make their hands more beautiful because they are representative of you. But aside from the area around the eye, which is the thinnest skin on the body and the hardest to maintain the moisture, your neck and décolleté is very thin, but the skin on the back of your hands is tremendously thin. So that means it will age faster if you're not really super, super, super hyper taking care of it. Yeah.
Well, that explains it. I'm
There
going
you
to be
go.
ordering a case. I mean, that's amazing. So now from our hands, let's go up to our face. You said the thinnest area is right under our eyes. And I mean, you got to have that magic potion with AHAVA too. Tell me about an under eye cream. And I want to know, tied in with that is the serum. I want to understand, a lot of people ask, even myself, I mean, I'm not an esthetician, but I love beauty and I love to get as much information as I can to share with my clients.
Excuse me.
When do we use a serum, a night cream, an under eye cream? Maybe you can take me through a little step-by-step there.
Shireen, why don't you take this, because you're so good explaining this.
I'd love that.
Sure, no problem. So after cleansing, you would go ahead and apply your serum. A serum can be used in the morning and a serum can be used in the night as well. The serum is after cleansing is the first step to your skincare routine. This is going to go ahead and prime the skin. And as we know, a serum is very potent, more than a cream.
Yes.
So you would apply this first. Our favorite is the Dead Sea Crystal Motor Serum. So you would apply your serum first. After that, you would apply your under eye cream, or we also have a serum as well. And
Shireen, the serum, it comes in like a droplet bottle, right?
that's
So
correct.
how many drops would you say? I mean, I know everybody's skin is different, but on an average, are we putting 2 drops under each eye, or what would you say?
Yeah, so for the serum for the face, you would apply 2 to 3 warm drops on the skin. And important not to rub a serum in your face.
That's what I wanted to know. I was this little tappy thing with their fingers on their cheeks.
You pat it into the skin. So because rubbing is can cause irritation. So you pat it into your skin. As far as an eye cream, you would apply it, under the eye. Some you can put above the eye as well. After your serum and your eye cream, you go ahead to your moisturizer. Whichever moisturizer you choose to use after you apply your serum, and then you go ahead that's your morning routine.
I love it.
And in the night, you could do the same thing as well, repeat.
I think one of the things that's really important, though, is that when you're using serums and moisturizers and creams and that sort of thing, you really need to avoid the eye area. And there are products, and we have beautiful eye creams that are made specifically for the skin around the eye orbit, in fact. And so it's very important that these serums that are just chock full of minerals, they're not going to hurt your eyes, but it's not going to be the optimal product for the eye area because of that thin skin. So you have to manufacture something that really can moisturize something that's so thin. So I just wanted to mention that, because it's not that you can't put it there.
Right.
However, what you want is effectiveness, and what you want is a really great result. And by using an eye cream that's specifically designed for that result is going to get you there.
Yes.
And so I think that's really important to point out.
Yes. And I love how you mentioned around the entire eye, even at where the eyebrow area is, because a lot of women, they start to feel like their eyes start to sag a little bit from the top, not just get underneath the eyes. So I think that's important too for people to understand where placement is. Thank you so much, Shireen. I'm so grateful that you can go through the steps with me, and I'm really excited for that hand cream. I keep thinking about that in the back of my head.
It's going to be your best friend.
It's going to be, and you know what? The name of the product is called Dermud, DURMUD, Dermud hand cream. It's an highly intensified hand cream, and and Shireen, please explain again, because you're so good at telling the story of Dermud, but it is a patented process of being able to put the mud into the hand cream, but it doesn't look like mud. It doesn't smell like mud, but that mud is just so, it just makes your skin feel so soothed. But Shireen, what is the technical part of that?
Yeah, so the derm mud comes from the mud from the Dead Sea. Like Beth Ann said, it doesn't look like mud, smell like mud, or anything like that. But what the mud is going to help to do is going to help soothe the skin. So if you have derm mud line, we recommend for anyone with that exceptionally dry skin, cracked skin, the winter time. We have, a hand cream, a foot cream, and a body lotion. So we're specifically targeting that extremely dry skin for the winter. So it is a patented formula, a leave-on mud, which is going to go ahead and help your skin retain that moisture. It's absolutely lovely, especially for dry skin in the wintertime.
And those of you that travel and you go on an airplane, I don't know if you've ever made the mistake of taking your shoes off on an airplane, and then all of a sudden you're at your destination and you're trying to put your high heels back on, and oh my gosh, you have a foot that's 3 times the size. The Dermud foot cream actually helps reduce the swelling of the hand and the feet. So, what you want to do is to try to get out of that airplane and get to a place where you can put on Dermud foot cream, and you'll find that it helps reduce the swelling to the point where your feet will feel totally different, number one, which is super. And number two, you'll probably be able to put your shoes back on pretty easy. So, that's another byproduct of Dermud foot cream is the reduction of swelling. But our number one product, Palma, is hand cream. Not the Dermud hand cream, but our mineral hand cream and our body lotions. It's our number one product. It's the number one product in the U.S. as a prestige hand cream. It's the number one product in the U.S. as well as it's our number one product also.
Oh, really cool. I mean, hairdressers out there, did you hear about it's the Derma Mud foot cream?
Well, there's the Dermud foot cream that helps reduce the swelling of your feet. Right. However, and those of you that wear heels, you know exactly what I'm talking about. And then there's Dermud hand cream that helps that dryness for nurses and, folks like yourself that, have their hands like in washing hair or whatever. But doctors and nurses love Dermud hand cream.
Yeah. Well, you're not just saving us hairdressers on our feet all day, but all of our frontliners, our, doctors, nurses. Yeah. This is great because sometimes the swelling, I have to tell you, ladies, there are weeks in here where it's so busy, which is a blessing after being closed over a period of time because of COVID. But when it gets so busy, sometimes the next day I could barely get my feet off of my bed because my feet are so swollen from just the nonstop pounding on the floor and just back and forth in the shop. So this is amazing because it doesn't matter how many times I feel like I can soak my feet. Nothing really.
But you said the magic word. You said the magic word. Here, Shireen knows exactly where to go. I'm going to go on this.
Like, wait, I got something for you.
My number one favorite product. Well, there's just so many. It's so hard to narrow it down. But if you have swelling in your feet from any, different shoes on your feet, whatever it may be, the best thing to do is when you go home is that you sit on the side of the tub and you draw a very shallow, nice little shallow bath for your feet. And you flip your feet in there. But you need to use Dead Sea salts. And you put about a half a cup of Dead Sea salts in there. And you just let them soak for probably maybe 3 to 5 minutes. Okay. I have to tell you, please try it and then give me a buzz because the swelling in your feet is immediately reduced. You feel like putting shoes back on and going out with your husband, and so it's my favorite product because, who likes to have sore feet? It changes your smile and your personality and the way you say things. So I think that's something
I'm
really
hungry
important.
when they see me. They like, are you hungry? I'm like, no, my feet hurt.
Yeah, well, and
they want to feed me. No.
Look, men say to me all the time, why do you ladies wear things like high heels? Those heels and everything. I'm like, because you all look like the way our legs look, or because we like the way our legs look. So
I like the way my legs look.
It's a fact of life. Yeah.
I mean, that'd be so helpful because there are Saturdays where I'm working like crazy and my feet are so swollen. And then we have plans that night. And I'm thinking, how am I going to get those shoes on my feet?
Exactly.
And I wear comfortable shoes during the day, but sometimes it's just crazy. The stress doesn't help either. So this is great. Or I could just go soak my feet for 3 to 5 minutes.
That's what you have to do. And you'll see the swelling has been reduced. And again, it's only because, and again, we are 100% Dead Sea salts. A lot of the salts that you buy in the drugstore, this is not your drugstore brand. This is a brand that has Dead Sea salts. Most of the brands that you buy in the drugstore, they're probably very good for certain things, but they are not Dead Sea salts. So there is a very big difference in the way that your body will react in terms of swelling to Dead Sea salts versus what is in most, which is maybe a tiny little smattering of Dead Sea salt, and the rest of it being like table salt and sodium chloride. So yeah, that's something and you'll find that when you take your feet out of the bath too, Palma, you don't feel dry. The skin does not feel dry. And when you take a salt bath sometimes with your drugstore brand, you may feel like you really, you've got to get that body lotion on quick. You've got to get that foot cream on quick. Mm-hmm. You will not feel that way. I promise you. It's a luxurious experience.
Ladies, I'm excited about this. Now, speaking of husbands, he's going to get jealous and try to jump in there. I want to know, my husband, he loves to take care of himself, and he, taps into my products. But is there a men's line that I can share with him? Tell me about that.
Yes, there's a men's line. But I will tell you, ready to jump in. Yeah, she's going to tell you all about it. But I do have to tell you, we have a body lotion that's for male and women and men. Okay, but mainly women like the body lotion and use it. The number one stolen product by boyfriends and husbands is our mineral body lotion. So just remember that. I find mine in my husband's bathroom, and I'm like, I know exactly where it went. But Shireen, tell us about the men's line and why specifically. It's basically a facial line, and there's a hand cream, but let's tell everyone about it because it is very special.
Yeah, sure. So we do have men's facial skincare. We have men's body care as well. So like Beth Ann said, he doesn't have to steal your hand cream or anything like that. We have men's face moisturizers. We have men's aftershave, men's shaving cream, men's eye cream. We have a total line for them. We have body care for them, hand cream, their own shower gels, and it still has the same, the same Dead Sea minerals in it as well. Just more of, the packaging is a little different in the color, just more specific to men's concerns. The number one is men's product is their facial cleanser. It's amazing. And then the hand cream as well is obviously amazing for the men, but it's especially made for men's skin concerns, and which we call the G4s, and which is going to go ahead and energize the men's skin. So it's a really good, a good thing for the men as well. So they can participate in our products.
I love that. I have a background of barbering. My father's a barber.
Oh, wow. Okay, cool.
So I'm in his barber shop, lucky for me. And so all the years I got to watch him use like shaving creams and aftershaves and all these things, and really even teaching his clientele. So barbers out there, AHAVA has a wonderful line for all of you. And just so everybody knows, please go to oriac.ca/AHAVA for more product information. There is so much more, ladies. I'm so grateful for all the information you guys are sharing with me. But before we go, I know you both have your favorites. There has to be, I know there's more than one, but if there's one both of you can share with us, what is your favorite product, Beth Ann? I'd love to hear.
Oh, it's so hard. It's like saying who's your favorite child. I think that Crystal S Motor, it's probably one of the most special products that we've ever had. It is a product that is a serum. It feels like a serum. It's like liquid gold. Those of us that are very dry, and I know a lot of people in Canada are very dry because of your climate. You must try this. It has 6 times the amount of Dead Sea Osmoto water in it than our other products. And so you're really getting that hydration, and you're getting this liquid gold for your skin. Shireen, what's your favorite product? It's probably not the same, but what's your favorite product?
My favorite product, as I mentioned before, is the Purifying Mud Mask. Yeah. The Purifying Mud Mask is a 2-minute mask, and it just makes my skin feel so amazing afterwards. My skin feels clarified, and it's just absolutely lovely. And it's a quick mask, so I don't have to sit there for 10 or 20 minutes. It's perfect. It's my absolute favorite.
And we also have a mask, and it's called Hydration Cream Mask. And it is a layer of mask that you put on the skin that really hydrates the skin. I use it as a pre-makeup cream. So you can put the mask on and then, I let it, do its thing, but I keep it on and I don't take it off. And I'll use it if I'm going to fly or whatever to, help the moisture maintain itself. But I will put my foundation right over it. And people are like, how could you do that? And I'm like, you go ahead and try it and then you tell me. It's like, and it makes your skin look very, very moist and dewy. It's beautiful. It's really, really nice. But we have a lot of tricks with skincare, believe it or not. A lot of people like to talk about makeup tricks and hair tricks and that sort of thing.
Absolutely.
But we have a lot of skincare tricks to be able to share, and hopefully we'll be invited back. By the way, I want to send you a bottle of Dead Sea water. And when you get that, I'd love for you to call Shireen and I, and we'd love to share with you why Dead Sea water is so totally different than any type of tap water. And you'll know immediately, it's the osmotic water. You'll know immediately why our products are completely different. So we'll get that off to you right away.
Thank you, guys. Thank you so much to you both. We'll have to have a whole other show on tips and tricks because I loved that last point you mentioned. There's so much behind AHAVA with love from our Oriac family to you both. Thank you for joining me today, and we'll see you both very soon. Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.